Since we moved into Folly House in 2011, the general graph has been heading on an upwards curve, and 46 winners a couple of years ago was obviously our best. We had a little bit of a dip last year, but obviously COVID put paid to several months of the season and what have you. So we were very keen to get back on that sort of upward trajectory, as it were, and thankfully we started off the season and really well through May, and really it's carried on through the rest of the autumn and into the winter again.
And I think so important as well for a trainer progressing through the ranks. The winners are there, the prize money is there, and the quality of horse is getting better as well. You must be delighted with the kind of stock that you have compared to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, we've got 50 boxes here at Folly House, and it's great that we're not forced to fill the boxes just for the sake of it, and we've really concentrated on trying to up the quality of the horses that we have here, and we've got a great team of owners that are very supportive of that, and it's really exciting that we've got some nice horses to hopefully be competing on the big days.
Do you set yourself targets at the start of the season? Obviously you want to better the last year or your best ever one, but do you set yourself individual targets or take it as it comes?
Always set myself targets, but don't tell too many people what those targets are. Listen, obviously you want to better the previous year, you want to progress. Obviously we were lucky enough to have a festival winner pretty early in our career, and some Grade 2 winners. Grade 1 winner would be obviously amazing. We haven't won a Grade 1 yet, and obviously competing at the festival again in those big races would be lovely. So yeah, listen, we'll set ourselves little private targets to get to, but don't tell too many people what those are.
Let us know at the end of the season.
Yeah, I will do if we make them.
Jamie, you've long thought plenty of Kilteely Briggs since the days he was a novice hurdler, and he's carried on repaying your faith right into this season. You'll be delighted with how he's getting on.
He's always been a really nice young horse. Obviously his novice hurdle form was very good. His novice chase form last season was very good. He never won last year, but he ran some good races and graded races and graduation chases, and actually not winning last season was probably a blessing in disguise, because it meant that he's obviously a novice this year as well, and we're reaping the benefit of that this year. He ran in the Albert Bartlett a couple of years ago, and poor chap, he came back from that and he got colic. He had to have colic surgery that night, and then 3 weeks after that he had surgery again. So really he didn't have a decent summer holiday, and as I say, it's probably been a blessing in disguise that he didn't win over fences last year, because I think he's a bigger, stronger, better individual this year, and we can really enjoy him there.
You've seen plenty of him and what he can do. What's his ideal scenario, do you think, at this point?
He stays very well. He's obviously out of a sister to Bala Briggs, so stamina is always going to be his forte. He didn't really stay earlier on in his career. Perhaps we were at fault for stepping him up in trip too soon, but he stays, he jumps fences brilliantly. He's very economical over a fence, and he does appreciate a bit of soft ground.
Take me back to Kempton and Boxing Day. Did you allow yourself to dream as they were rounding the home turn?
Yeah, I think we did, Obviously there were two good horses in front of him and a good horse back and forth as well, but rounding the home turn, you kind of half thought that an upset on the cards might be there, but it was a good bit of pacing, picked up some decent prize money for that, didn't have an overly hard race, and shows that he stays well. He probably appreciated having a lead in that race as well, and I think there could be a nice handicap in him, and hopefully that might be the ultimate at the festival.
Just take me back to arguably the biggest day of your training career. Anything for Love, winning the Jane Seymour Mares Novices Hurdle at Sandown. That's a day you're not going to forget in a hurry.
I agree. It was a lovely performance. I don't know. I think the festival winner might top that. But Grade 2 at Sandown, lovely. Anything for Love winning there. It was very surreal. Obviously, it was in the heart of sort of COVID and all the restrictions, and it was a very wet, miserable day. I think I was the only one in the stands that day. It was very odd. But listen, it was seeing her gallop up that hill and winning a prestigious race like that was lovely. And she really is a lovely mare.
And it must mean that a little bit extra that you could give Paige Fuller such a big marquee win, really in the infancy of her career as well.
Yeah, obviously she'd just ridden out her claim earlier on that season, so for her to go and win such a lovely race on a big stage really showed what a decent jockey she is, Obviously, she grew up through the ranks here as an amateur in the conditional. So, obviously, I take great pleasure from the success that she's having.
For things that are out of your control, this is likely her last season of racing, but she ran an absolute cracker last time at Sandown in the Mares' Listed
I thought you were going to say it was Paige's last season racing. Anything for Love's last season racing, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously her mum, Le Peritine, died a couple of days before before Anything for Love's second in that listed race at Sandown on Tolworth Hurdle Day. And I think Brian Mayer will obviously have her back to breed from, and what a lovely prospect to breed from. She really is a belter of a horse with a lovely heart and great attitude, and I think she'll produce some really nice foals.
Stony Mountain, you've had him for a year now. He's you have to love how tough and gritty he was at Newbury when he got back to winning ways.
It was lovely. Last season, nothing went right for him, the poor chap. We went chasing with him and he picked up a nasty injury, and then he had the thumps at Huntingdon. So we only ran him the 3 times, but nothing went right for him. We've had a very clear run with him this time around. Obviously, he won first time out at Newbury, which was great. He was arguably a bit unlucky in the Grade 3 up at Haydock that he'd won previously. Things didn't go quite right for him that day, and he still stayed on to finish 4th. Didn't handle the soft ground at Cheltenham on New Year's Day, but he's dropped a couple of pounds back to near enough his last winning mark, and hopefully we'll go to the Pertemps final with a squeak off a nice mark.
It's a race he's run respectably in before, when with Henry Daly. Would you be getting a run into him in between, or straight there?
No. I think so. He won off 138. He's off 139 now. He's in great order. We'll freshen him up. Obviously, we've got amazing facilities here in Lambourne to get him tip top. We'll go around the bowl a couple of times, and I think we'll go straight there.
What kind of horse does he like to deal with? He's 9 now. Is he a handful, or is he?
No, he's he's a legend. Yeah, no, our 10-year-old daughter could ride him up the gallops. He's a lovely horse.
And from the opposite end of the scale, we get to Jeepmaker, who is very much a horse of the future, a future chaser and stayer of the future, but still good enough to win over hurdles first time up as well.
Yeah, it was a very good performance, I thought, at Chepstow last week, over 2 miles. And again, he's a horse that I see very much as a staying chaser for the future. He's a really exciting young horse. Jumps well, gallops, stays, and showed a lovely attitude. He came from Barry Geraghty and Warren Ewing, obviously where Constitution Hill came from, and Barry always liked him, and certainly put me onto him as well, which is exciting. What
were expectations going into that run? Were you looking for a nice experience first time, or were you really confident?
Horses having their first runs for you, so horses that have shown a bit at home, you always hope they're going to go and put in a performance like that. But I think you want to keep expectations to a minimum, and have hope as your overriding sort of feeling, as it were. So, but no, he's a nice horse, and very much looking forward to seeing what he can do over hurdles, because staying chasing is going to be his game at the end of the day.
So, what would the rest of the season look like for him?
I think we'll tick away gently. We'll try and find another novice with a penalty and work away. But obviously, he does want soft ground, and I think we'll just tick away gently this season. Novice chasing next season, where we should hopefully have a fair bit of fun with him.
A plethora of good horses within the yard, and 2 excellent jockeys to ride them as well. Gavin Sheehan and Paige Fuller are right at the top of the team sheet. That must help very much, the familiarity that they can bring, and 2 contrasting styles as well.
I think that's very right. They do have very contrasting styles. Obviously, Paige came up through the ranks as amateur and conditional, and it's great actually for her to slot into sort of the second role. It's a real nice role model for the young guys in the yard as well, who are working their way up through the ranks as well. We've got obviously young Will Featherston, who's an amateur, and Lily Jones, who you saw schooling there this morning. And they're two young guys, hopefully sort of looking up to Paige and Gavin. Obviously, Gavin's done brilliantly for us. I think he's 8th or 9th in the table at the moment. So it's really nice to have decent jockeys on our team.
It must be nice that they're in different stages of their career as well, and as you say, that the young jockeys can look up to them, but you've very much got a jockey who's nearing the top of the table, and one who's lost her claim but hasn't let that stop her.
And that was great. Obviously, she won a Grade 2 last year on Anything for Love at Sandown, and just when she'd lost her claim, it was quite key that win, I think, for her to really sort of put her up to it to show that she didn't need her £7 claim to sort of achieve the results on the big stage. And she's obviously been a big part of our team here for many years, and nice to see her doing so well.
We're often guilty of just focusing on the headline horses when we visit these stables. Who have we missed? Who are the dark horses?
It's a lovely horse called Hardy Desoy. He's won 2 of his 4 novice chases. Unfortunately, he unseated and fell on his 2 other starts, but we've done a fair bit of work on his jumping. He's a smart horse. He does jump really nicely. I think we might step him up into graded company and try and utilise that 5-year-old, 4-5-year-old weight for age allowance that these novice chasers get, and he might step into graded company next, perhaps at Haydock.